Are you a fan of Alfred Hitchcock? Are you inspired by the Twilight Zone? Well, millions of graphic novel fans all over the world are. Today I'm here with my colleagues to visit graphic novelist Iqbal Ali in Redbridge. We're here to interview him, discuss, talk about his dreams, aspirations and the future. Let us waste no further time and let me introduce you to graphic novelist Iqbal Ali, the man of the moment. Right, Iqbal, tell us about the inspiration behind your graphic novels.
Well, the two books that I've got out, which is Strange Skies and Seeds. Strange Skies is about a plane of passengers who get sucked through a wormhole and they end up flying through strange skies. So the idea behind that came from me travelling around on planes, and just like the idea that looking out the window you're so detached from the rest of the world and you've really got no control over where the plane's going and where your life is heading, basically. So that's the inspiration for for Strange Skies. It's also inspired a lot by Alfred Hitchcock movies, which I'm a big fan of, and also the Twilight Zone TV series and things like that. Seeds is kind of it's kind of a response to reading a lot of science fiction stuff, comic books and things like that, but not seeing anything set in Bangladesh. So that was my first thought going into Seeds. So it's kind of it's a shorter book. It's more poetic. I've tried to get across a more poetic sensibility in that. So that's the there's probably not much more I can tell without giving the plot away, because
Thank you. Just how big exactly is the graphic novel scene in the UK and internationally?
Well, the graphic novel scene hasn't been very big in the past. So, comic books were pretty much, Marvel, DC, superhero stuff, or Dandy Beano. But it is slowly growing. This year, I've read somewhere, it's the first year that the top 10 books have not been Marvel or DC, just been other different types of stories, which I think is very healthy. And it's also there's been year-on-year growth of graphic novel sales. So this year has been the biggest graphic novel sale. When I say this year, I mean 2014, the year that just passed.
Independent graphic novelists are on the way up. Do you think they're grabbing a bigger share of the market? And what's the reason behind this success?
I think it's... I do think it's steadily growing. I think we're still seeing, like, there's the big publishers who are doing very well. Like I mentioned before, the top 10 books have actually been Image Comics, which are kind of independent but creator owned sort of thing. So self-published, it's quite. I think it's quite a new scene, especially now where we've got things like CreateSpace, print on demand, which allows you to self-publish works, which allows you to bypass the entire publishing path, as it were. So you can you're freer to do the kind of stories that you really want to do, and I think it's because of that I think we're seeing quite a lot of new talent, especially when you go to Comic-Con. You'll see like there's so many tables of new graphic novelists, comic artists and comic writers and things like that. They're bringing out a lot of books. So yeah, I think it's exciting time, and I think we hopefully for all of us, we're going to see a little bit of growth in that independent sort of graphic novel market.
Iqbal, you've got a full-time job. You've also got a family, a young family at that. Can you explain to us how you fit your hobby, which is primarily a hobby at the moment, around your very hectic schedule?
Well, it's very difficult. It's It involves a lot of timetables.
Would you call it a labor of love?
Oh yes, yes, without a doubt. If I didn't, if there wasn't some love in the things that I do, I don't think it'd ever get done. Basically, so I'm lucky in that the company where I work at, I'm freelancer. So so I do some regular days at a company, and then I'm doing some freelance work on the side, and I'm doing this comic book stuff as well along with that. So yeah, my timetable's pretty packed out, and sometimes means I have to juggle things around, and it kind of means that I've got to as soon as I hit my desk, I've got to start working. I've got like a set number of tasks that I need to do before the day's over. I try to dedicate 3 hours a day, 5 days a week to.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. So I try to do it as early as possible, so I've got the energy to just really go at it and go quite fast and work. Try and cram a day's worth of work into 3 hours basically, and then doing the same thing with my freelance work as well. So yeah, it's pretty full on.
On that subject, how do you gain inspiration for your works?
The inspiration just comes from all over the place, basically. I mentioned about the flying around,
yes.
When going on trips. For Strange Skies, also things like current events, like the Gaza attacks in 2014. That kind of, because what it is I don't know who was said it, but writing, creating, it's kind of like therapy. So it's a good way to just kind of vent. So yeah, it's just kind of I get inspiration from all things.
So explain the process. You have a bulb in your head, mm-hmm. It lights up rapidly. You might be driving, you might be at work, you might be in the toilet, in the washroom.
Yeah.
Do you record your ideas and come back to them later? Do you jot them down?
What
do you do?
I do jot them down, and I need to be more organised about where I jot them down, because I've got them jotted down all over the place. So and sometimes I've got a whole list of ideas that I want to get to eventually. Since I was a kid, basically, I've had lots of ideas from there. So I've still got the books with all the ideas from when I was a kid. So at some point I'm going to get to them, but sometimes you do get an idea and you go, I know exactly what I want to do with this. So then you just kind of run with it, and then I try to work as quickly as possible. Do you find Comic-Con a good place to network and meet with people, fans, prospective clients, publishers? Yeah, definitely. I've been lucky in that I've met some great people at Comic-Con, some great people who've bought books from me and that come back and visit me, and we have a good chat and things like that. So, and also just speaking to what I call my colleagues, other people who are doing the same thing. So we just kind of chat about how difficult it is to get the time to actually do the kind of technical problems that we sometimes have to face and things like that. So yeah, Comic-Con has been great.
You've got great transferable skills. Do you use your skills to, say, benefit community organisations or individuals in London?
Yeah, I mean, I'm helping out with a charity organisation called AU Foundation. So I'm doing, I'm kind of like supplying them with technical help with that. What I want to do more of is trying to get, the newer kind of generation into maybe. If they enjoy doing comic books, then I want to show them how to get into doing comic books and how to really express themselves through comic medium, because basically what comic books are is just a storytelling medium. So I know a lot of people just have this passion to tell stories. Everybody's got stories they want to tell. So and maybe some people find the comic medium a good outlet for their stories.
In terms of community engagement, would you ever consider holding workshops in the local community for young people or otherwise who wish to venture down the same path as you?
Yes, definitely. That's definitely is something that I'm very interested in. So I'd I think I haven't had the opportunity to do that yet, but once the opportunity does come up, I definitely want to be doing that. But provided I have the time, basically, because at the moment, like I mentioned before, juggling a lot of things.
Iqbal, who are your favorite graphic novelists?
Well, my favorite at the moment, I'm quite into my manga. So I really like the work of Rumiko Takahashi, who's did the Mermaid series, really, really good, and people like Naoki Urasawa, who's done the Monster manga series, and Junji Ito. So and then on the Western side, I'm quite into Grant Morrison and all of those kind of current topical sort of writers and artists. But yeah, I'm definitely kind of influenced more by the manga, I'd say, even though it's not outwardly, the work that I do isn't outwardly manga, but it's I just love their work.
I'm thoroughly impressed with the success of your graphic novels. Me myself, I'm a signed up member now of Club Iqbal and Mild Frenzy. Could you tell us about any future plans that you may have?
Yeah, well, book 3 is going to be coming out soon, so right. That's my third book. Book 4
launch for 2015.
2015, yeah. So probably going to be February, maybe if not March.
Watch this space, maybe, everyone.
Yeah. So that one's coming very soon. So I've just sent the book to the editor today to just get some corrections, just to check for spelling mistakes and things like that. So. Book 4 is in heavy development, and book 5 I'm currently writing. So there's I've got plans up to book 10. So and then after that I'll see where things go. So but yeah, my time's I'm pretty much booked my time out till 2020, I think. So yeah.
That's planning ahead.
Yeah. I need to plan ahead because. There's each book takes a long time to create, so it's so I need a proper plan in terms of I want to try and get 2 books out a year, but if not, then at least 1 book out a year. So and with everything like we mentioned before, work and other commitments, it can be quite difficult to meet that. So it's definitely kind of I need to plan. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Iqbal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, this is a book I've got signed by a number of big names that I was sat next to at Comic-Con. So people...
The February Comic-Con.
Yeah, the February Super Comic-Con. So that's Peter David. I used to read his books as a kid. So... He's a big inspiration for me as well. So yeah, this is the book. So this is Seeds.
And this is Bangladeshi in origin.
Bangladesh. This is
so somebody could settle down in their lungi in the evening and enjoy a read of this.
Have an enjoy a read of this. It's quite poetic. I'm trying different sort of storytelling techniques with this one. So it's a shorter book, so you can get to experiment a little bit more.
So you got a character there called Ahmed Salim. I can see.
So it's not outwardly said that it's set in Bangladesh, but that's
okay. But it's inspired.
Yeah.